Yo, what's up everybody? Today we're going to be doing some more of the Subarashiki Hibi playthrough. Now today, oh my fucking god, we've got so many interesting things planned because we are going to be looking at, well, let's be honest, we're going to be sneaking in the sewer with Ayana. And what I find really interesting about the fact that we are sneaking in the sewer now is just, what is the significance of it going to be? I mean, yesterday, obviously, we discovered something morbid. We really did. But, yeah, I just really wonder what's going to happen today. Because, obviously, we've seen everything, here. Yeah, so... yeah, I find it funny that she never seems to hesitate. But, yeah... I mean, it is interesting because I think that anything relating to Ayana is significant. I just kind of want to remind myself of the conversation topic. Yeah, but that's the interesting thing. It's as if she knows the location of Takuji, and I really do wonder why. Is it just because... I just really wonder what Ayana's true role in all of this is. I really do, because it just seems too weird. I mean, for example, how would she... know where Takuji is? It just makes no sense. Yeah, she doesn't ever seem to hesitate. Wait, so I don't think I've read anything after this.
Ayana-san, 臭い。あ、いや、下水だからね。で、排水タンクの中に入った。ここには誰もいない。
Yeah, no, totally. It is interesting to think about how much she knows. I mean, of course she knows. When does Ayana not know? Let's be honest here. But still, Ayana-san has already lifted up the cover inside and left.
Ayana-san.
Ayana-san. Yeah, so we're here again, but where are we going? Yeah, no, that is a good point. I mean, but the only thing is I feel like somebody who knows as much as she does, I feel like she'd know whether people were hiding there or not. I don't know, I just kind of have that feeling. I was thinking that tons of people could probably hide out in here. Oh my god, where's she going? Ayana-san kept walking. It was like she already knew the way. Yeah, isn't that interesting? Even though it's as dark as it is here, I mean, the sewer is totally pitch black. It's really quite surprising to think about the fact that she does.
Ayana-san,
Ayana-san, just who are you?
Otonashi Ayana.
Otonashi Ayana.
Yeah, 名前は知ってるんだけどさ。
No, I already know your name. Funny that she says nothing. Well, like she always says, it's something that we... Well, it's something that we have to learn ourselves. It's something that she can't tell us. We have to understand it ourselves because... I mean, I suppose the analogy kind of went... let's think about the... Well, I suppose if it's something that cannot be directly perceived by you, it's something that doesn't fully exist? Wait, no, what was the analogy? When she was telling us about what she could and couldn't tell us, when we wanted answers, but she wasn't giving them to us at all. Oh, I just want to exactly remember what she was saying. Hang on, let me just get it up real quick. Okay, I actually got something from that. So, Ayana was saying the limit of our world is the thing we can only discover ourselves, and she can't, even though she knows all of the answers, she can't aid us in actual discovery. Because, and then if you think about the reference to the Tractatus Logico-Philosophicus book, there's kind of the idea that it's as if whatever is perceived outside of our information and outside of knowledge, really, if there is something that Ayana can tell us, it's as if it's something that's outside of the limit of our world, so it's something that can't really be perceived as fact. I don't know. I'm really in the works of trying to make sense of that. It's really hard, that one. But yeah, what my point is, it's just funny to think about the fact that Ayana has such an obsession for us to find the truth by ourselves. I mean, I get that this is our world, and no matter how reality bends around us, we are still, well, Minakami Yuki. But the only thing is, it's just really unusual to think that she is this reluctant in telling us anything. I mean, I just genuinely wonder why that is. But I suppose it's Yuki's own existence, so she needs to carve out her own truth. But at the same time, why? Why is she not just telling us all the answers? Is there some sort of game she's playing? That's my question. But the only thing is, then you could tie Takuji's concept of dimensions in. It doesn't matter if someone just tells you everything that is here. It's like a really complicated maths problem. You can't solve it unless you really, really try to analyse it yourself, and you spend you spend loads and loads of time just trying to analyse the core components. Like, for example, if somebody, I don't know, if somebody asks you to find an area via integral stuff, like, if you were asked to integrate something without knowledge of how to integrate, you would have to spend so much time to learn that. And if you didn't, it would seem like such an unknown concept. It depends if you go definite or indefinite, to be fair. I think that's what they're called. I don't know. I've only done indefinite ones. I'm quite new to integration. I've done differentiation though. But anyway, I'm really getting off the topic. We're doing logarithms now. Phew. Hate them. She walked over to the place where... Oh my god, so casually as well. She walked over to the place where Kagami has been laying. Where the floor was covered in dark red blood. I was just about to say it's interesting that that's still a detail. That is so funny. That was just what I was expecting. I mean, this story is so weird now that I can just predict this just because of how odd everything is. How little it makes sense. I mean, there's something that should be logical. There's something that should have remained there. Well, no, of course it's not going to be the case. Is that because Takuji may have cleaned it up? But there was no blood. Cotton. There was just cotton. That's actually really, really weird. Because this totally gives me the reminder of... It's as if Kagami was a... I don't know... A bunny. The bunny that Yuki was carrying on her back yesterday. In that world where Hasegawa was the person that was next to us. I mean, it's kind of as if she's just become fabric. This is so weird. There was just cotton scattered everywhere. So that really was... yeah. Kagami's mutilated body was just a doll. But the only thing is, I mean, I clearly remember that description yesterday. We saw a mutilated body. A doll filled with cotton. What happened to the real Kagami? Seriously though, but the only thing is, that's the weirdest thing. I believe that was the real Kagami that had somehow turned into the doll. And if anything, I don't really understand how Tsukasa... I don't understand what happened to Tsukasa as well. I mean, Kagami... Obviously, it's a bit odd, but what about Tsukasa? This is so weird. What is the scaling of this background? I can't believe it. Wow, these foundations are massive. I thought maybe you could fit, like, maybe one or... I don't know. I mean, these are maybe, like... I mean, let's say Ayana's around 1.5 feet. How many... No, sorry, 1.5 meters. Nah, maybe more. Maybe like 1.6. Let's say, how many Ayanas, I wonder? Maybe like easily 4 you could fit there. I mean, these are massive foundations. They really are. I bet you if Ayana laid down and tried to stretch her legs and her arms to the maximum capacity, she would be less length than this part here. When I say this foundation here, I mean... just the part that's in the shape of a cuboid, not this extrusion, well, not this sloped part at the bottom. Over here. Ayana-san stopped and stood in one spot. Then she waved me over. Yeah, a huge pillar stood in front of her. It seemed as if it was supporting the world itself. Yeah, God. I don't blame her for thinking stuff like that. She is scared. Ayana-san pointed to that pillar. What the fuck? Hang on a second, so that is Kagami. What? This is weird. What the fuck is that? Jesus Christ. Why? What? Okay, so firstly, I don't really understand why whoever has done this has made it so that... this seems like something Zakudor would write on her desk, or is that just me? Just something so incoherent and nonsensical. That's really weird. I mean, I just don't really understand why you would spend so much time... This looks like a properly well-made piece of art, objectively. Why would you spend so much time carving it out? Well, let's be honest, this is probably done with blood. That's so weird. Jesus Christ, really rubbing salt into the wound for Yuki. What is this? Yeah. The huge pillar was covered in scribbles, though they were carefully drawn like religious items. This is so weird. It's properly messed up. Yeah, from far away, they blended in with the rest of the pillar. The whole thing is covered in scribbles. Wouldn't be surprised. Did Mamiya Takuji do this? I wonder what that thing here is. I don't know, is that somebody that's a backwards shot of somebody? That's really weird. So we have part of a person laying backwards and obviously stretching his legs out, and then we have a face that's facing the other way. Also, obviously no head here, because that would just be too normal, wouldn't it? I think I know what those are. What does that say, I wonder? Those black words there. Did Mamiya Takuji do this? Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that's right. That's the name of Mamiya-kun's Nyala Lotep. She says it so funnily. It just sounds so wrong in Japanese. But Nyarlathotep is the god of nightmares and the bringer of them as well. I just want to fully... I just want to, yeah, so a Lovecraft character, which is funny. Yeah, but that is actually really interesting. So an intermediary between the deities and their cults. And it kind of reminds me of Takuji, because obviously he is the intermediary between all of the cults. And, well, he is, well, not really an intermediary. I'd more say he's the manager of the cult. He's the one who controls everything. And Nyarlathotep is the bringer of nightmares, isn't he? What was the... Yeah, the god of nightmares and chaos in the Cthulhu mythos, a fictional universe. Yeah. God of nightmares and chaos. Yeah, so this is the manifestation of, what's his name? Takuji's chaos, I suppose. That kind of implies that, well, yeah, oh my god, I'm doing this really badly. Hang on. I just want to move my webcam. I can't tell, my webcam keeps on changing. Or is it just, it's my relevance to the webcam. Okay, yeah, that's fine now. Yeah. It's just a bit different today. I'm sitting in a different position. What? Is that Niall whatever, a living thing or something? Yeah, but no, I can totally see that. Yes, something like that. I mean, Jesus Christ, why is this person being... Yeah, that too. Yeah, the crawling chaos. I just don't understand why, if you're going to kill somebody in the most awful way, you draw them in something like this. I mean, God, I don't think the word inhumane is a far stretch. I mean, yeah, notice the choice of outfit that Takuji's done as well. I don't know, I just kind of feel that because of the fact that words like this are used, maybe it could be, I don't know, sexual connotations. I just don't understand why you draw somebody in a maid outfit and then dismember them with people in front of the sister of that person. Huh? The crawling... Yeah. Oh my god. Hang on a second. That's an interesting connection. That thing I saw. Was that Takuji? What? Oh, that's actually really quite interesting. So when we find something potentially really quite significant, it's time to see the end sky. Could you imagine if that was Takuji we saw? But the only thing that I don't really understand is why would we not just see a normal person? Why would it suddenly be the case that we'd see someone dark? I don't get it. But to be fair, I do remember that time when we saw Takuji and obviously everything was going mental after we'd seen Zakudo's phone. I mean, it was as if we had gone to sleep the second that happened. The scene cut off. Maybe that could imply that Takuji has made us unconscious. But why hasn't he killed us? That's my question. Why would you make... Why would... Oh, I don't know. I mean, obviously all of that Zakudo phone related stuff, that was done in order to make us scared. That really was done to provoke us. So maybe there's something in that. It's time to go see the end sky. Yeah, I'm excited for this. The end sky. Let's go. Huh? What? That's such a weird transition. Otonashi-san pointed into the darkness. What the? This just looks wrong! That's so odd. I mean, the thing that I love about something like this is you just feel... This just feels like a portal to another world in some way. Because... Or it just feels like something that is completely wrong. It feels like a ladder that should extend from the floor to the ceiling. But it just is cut off halfway when the black is cut off. That's so weird. I thought it was pure darkness, but I caught a few vague glimpses of steel within it. Yeah, my god, are we going to see Takuji? I really wonder. It looked like a spider web reaching down into the depths of hell. Yeah, no, I totally see that. Is that a ladder? Yeah, but god, what is going down here? What is going on down here? Well, you'd hope so. Was this used during construction? Ayana-san, where does this lead? But the only thing is she's thinking it leads to the end sky. Could that imply that maybe it leads to the ending part of Yuki's world? Or maybe it just leads to some sort of tunnel that you can go up, or you can just traverse to get to the rooftop? I don't know. Like I said, it leads... Yeah, to the end sky. Well, this is the thing. She's not going to tell us anything. We have to discover it ourselves. A common theme in this chapter 2. The rungs continued on forever. God, don't drop yourself. That's all I'm going to say. The rungs continued on forever. I was caught up in the illusion that I was wandering through endless darkness. Totally reasonable, yeah. It's that wind. I could hear the wind in the distance. Far away. Further. At the top of the ladder, I could hear the wind, so they've gone outside. But they've gone to a completely unknown location as well. That's kind of... Could you imagine if this is an abandoned building in the school? That would be really, really cool. That's kind of... The far-off sound of the wind slowly came closer. Yeah, they're getting more and more high up. The sound of the wind. Okay, where are we? Huh? Oh, wow. This is building C. That's interesting. God, this is really unusual. Oh, isn't it interesting that Kimika is here as well? God. This is so weird. I mean, Subarashiki Hibi has done nothing but make us feel as if we are completely in the unknown and just in the most weird occasions. I mean, I know this just seems liminal, this site. It just doesn't seem real. It's odd, and I love how they've done it. And I love how these fences are made as well. Is this building C? Oh, so people aren't actually allowed on real... Dude, is that telling me that, wait, no. So, I really do wonder, I mean, of course. So, that's a really interesting alternate way to get on Building C. I really do wonder if this is the only possible way there is to get on Building C's rooftop. Because I really wonder if Senagawa had to do this exact route in order... Well, no, not really. I mean, she was never followed anywhere, it was just the killer following her. It is puzzling. Well, I suppose a teacher definitely could have gone on to Building C, and especially because of the fact that Zakudo's club was on here, maybe the teacher would have instinctively wanted to look here for the doll. Yeah, my god, it's odd. It was a total lure to Building C, but what's the significance of Building C? Is it because students aren't allowed on the rooftop? We have two of the most psychotic students in the school here. The rooftop the students weren't allowed on. It was the roof of Building C. Ayana-san. There it is. There. I looked over to where she'd pointed. Who are those? You know who those people are, what? Or do you not just recognise their silhouettes? What are they doing over there? Yeah, my god, I know, they are completely on the edge. That was... Yeah, the spot Miss Senagawa fell from. Why are those two standing there? To mock her, maybe? I don't know. No way. What's she doing? What? Okay, that was definitely not what I was expecting. I thought they were in it together. What just... That's a joke, right? That was... Yeah! Is Takuji going to die? Did another person just die? But the only thing is, this is the really, really wrong thing. I mean, if Kagami was a doll, now, in the end of it, could you imagine if she was a doll for the entirety of it? I mean, could you maybe think that that was alluded to in the episode 1 when we found out that everything was a dream? I don't know. This is the weirdest thing. It just genuinely doesn't make sense. But the only thing is, I don't understand how you can mistakenly see something. I need more of an explanation. Was it just my mistake again? This is Mamiya Takuji. Oh, here he is. Damn. Yeah, this is going to be a really, really informative conversation. We've just got Takuji with the most menacing CG. And obviously he's about to... Well, I mean... Oh, isn't that interesting, the choice of the background? And funnily enough, that has relations to the Milky Way. I mean, that massive constellation of stars. The... Well, no, wait, hang on a second. This is the... one of the constellations within the Summer Triangle, I thought. Oh, I forgot. But I do remember it. It's really significant. That was the Swan Star. All of the connections looked... I remember that magpie analogy. I really liked that. He sounds really, really odd. Yeah, so you were still here. I just saved everyone. How did you just save everybody? You literally just killed somebody. Saved? Is this salvation? That's right. Yeah, you that stupid. Exactly. Yeah, trying it with somebody with actual human views and realistic perspectives talking to Takuji. Oh god, that's not a good mix. Yeah, that's stupid. Yeah, seriously, can't you see that they just died? Just died? I see. It's as if he is assessing our understanding.
そうなのかもしれないな。
See, you might be right.
大いなるものと同化したいと人は思う。だけどそれは死と何ら変わらない。だから、人は大いなるものとの同化を、そして死も恐れる。
People wish to become one with something greater. Become one with something greater, that's really unusual. But that's no different from death. That's why they fear becoming one with something greater. Just as they fear death. But that's actually really quite unusual because you could interpret this in many ways. I mean, becoming one with something greater. But what is the something that is greater? Is it a greater world that you live in? Is it a greater, I don't know, person inside you with greater ambitions or greater potential? But I suppose people have ambition and then they fear what the ambition may lead them to.
あんたのそんな頭のネジが緩んだお話なんて聞きたくないの。
Well, at least she's real. I don't want to hear this drivel coming out of your crazy head.
なら何を聞きたい?
Yeah, what the fuck is happening? Yeah, then is there something you want to hear?
聞きたいこと?
Yeah.
ああ、そうね。たくさんあるかしら。
Something I want to hear? Yeah, I've got plenty of questions for you.
たくさんね。
Oh, he sounds puzzled. He sounds like he's totally testing us. He really, really does give me the impression of somebody who's looking down on us. Plenty, huh?
全部あなたが仕組んだことでしょ。
You set this all up, didn't you?
仕組んだ?
Set it up, did I?
そうよ。これはあなたが全部仕組んだ茶番。
Yeah, but the only thing is I don't understand how you explain a lot of things, even if this is the case. That's right, this whole thing is a farce you
僕が
devised.
仕組んだ茶番?
A farce I devised. Yeah, isn't it interesting that he's just listening? He's not saying anything.
それは僕の奇跡の数々のことかい?
Excuse me, are you talking about my miracles?
そうよ。
That's right. Interesting that he believes they're miracles.
へえ、それは興味深いな。僕の奇跡は種も仕掛けもあるというわけか。
Oh, that's interesting. So you're saying there's a trick to my miracles? Well, how do you do them? It's not like everybody in the world can just think, oh wow, let's just do a miracle. No, I mean, what is up with it?
そうよ。今回の事件に呪いも奇跡も、
Yeah. Fair.
もちろん世界が滅びるなんて予言もありはしない。あるのはお粗末なトリックだけ。
Right, there's no curse and no miracles. And of course, there's no prophecy that the world's going to end. There's just a bunch of crude tricks. Like what though? Oh god. He's probably gonna say, okay, explain them then.
お粗末なトリック? なるほど、そこまで言うんだ。それで、その仕掛けは全部わかったのかい?
Crude tricks. So that's what you think. Have you figured them all out? Yeah.
当然よ。
Of course.
それは素晴らしいな。さすが水上さんといったところかな。ならば、答え合わせといこうじゃないか。そのトリックの数々の。
That's wonderful. I suppose I should have expected that much of you, Minakami-san. Well then, let's hear it. Let's hear about all of my tricks. Yeah, I do find it really interesting to think about the fact that he says he would expect this much of us. Maybe Takuji just thought that because of the fact that we were skipping classes, he potentially had more hope in us because we didn't just think that intellect was down to how good you were at school, maybe? And obviously Yuki is a very smart person. It's just, unlike everybody else in the school, her intelligence doesn't go towards academic related things, and maybe Takuji appreciates that just because we're using our thinking for more creative purposes. I don't know, maybe that's what he thinks. So maybe that's why he'd expect more from us. Miracles, though, that's interesting. I really do wonder how Takuji is going to respond to everything that we're saying. Interesting to think about the fact that Yuki confidently says she's figured them all out. I want to hear her explanation as well.
Soね。まずは何がいいかしら。
So what should we start with?
最初がいいな。そう。
Good
どう
point.
やって
Yeah,
これ
yeah,
が
yeah.
始まったか。そこから説明してもらえるかな。
From the beginning, how did it start? Can you explain that?
始まり。なるほどね。それなら、
Yeah.
一連の騒動の発端、高島さんからの呪いのメールがいいかしら。
Yeah, I mean, the uproar, sure, but at the same time, I think the start of all of the incidents began when Tsubasa, or Shiroyama Tsubasa, was... I feel like he was murdered by these guys. It's very suspicious. The beginning? Well then, the start of this uproar would be Takashima-san's curse mail, I suppose.
高島さんの呪いメールか。
Yeah, me too.
それはぜひ聞きたいね。
Yeah, he sounds very, very well versed. Oh, the curse mail. I'd love to hear about
通
that.
称高島メール。みんなに配布されたという呪いのメール。それは一番簡単なトリックによって行われた。
They call it Takashima mail, the cursed messages that got sent out to everyone. That was the simplest
一番
trick.
簡単な。
The simplest.
そうね。あまりに当たり前で原始的な手段。
Yeah, just steal her phone, or better off, just make it so that she... Wait, no. I can't remember if the phone was found at the scene or not. That's a detail I missed. But there are lots of ways where you can, I don't know, just give the police the impression the phone's there. Well, then again, I mean, you'd still have the risk of the police bagging it as evidence. So I don't really know. Or maybe there was another phone. Maybe Zakuro in her pocket had a phone that was not her own phone, and the other phone was just given to Takuji before she was killed by herself, obviously.
あなた、自殺現場で高島さんの携帯電話を拾ったか、あるいは盗んだかしたわね。
I'm sorry, but I just don't think it would be possible. I mean, if you jump off a roof, how would your phone be able, especially because it's a cell phone, it has none of the durability that any modern phones would have. I mean, I just don't understand how something like that would be able to survive a fall as big as this. I think that's unlikely. You either picked up Takashima-san's phone at the site of her suicide, or you stole it. Who's saying that he stole it? Who's saying that he isn't involved with Zakuro?
なるほど。
Yeah,
それ
yeah.
は当たり前のトリックだな。
I
そ
know.
れで、その証拠は？
God, he's totally teasing her. Fucking hell, he's brutal. That's an obvious trick, isn't it? So then, what's your proof?
高島さんの携帯から高島さんの指紋、それと、あなたの指紋が検出されたわ。
I found two sets of fingerprints on her phone. Takashima-san's own fingerprints and yours. But how do we know
それは
this?
どうやって調べた？
And how did you find
何の
those?
嫌がらせか知らないけど、私の家に高島ザクロの携帯電話を置いたのはあんたでしょ。
I don't know if it was a prank or what, but someone left their phone in my room. It was you, right?
怖がらせる目的だったんでしょうけど、いちいち証拠を残してくれたんだから、ちゃんとあんたの机と高島さんの机から指紋取らせてもらって照合してみたわよ。
You were probably trying to scare me, but you left way too much evidence behind. I also got fingerprints from your desk and Takashima-san's desk, and then I compared them.
答えはビンゴ。その携帯には高島ザクロの指紋とあんたの指紋が確認されたわ。
Dude, it could be anybody. It doesn't have to be... Okay, here's the people that I think it could also be. It may not have been the case that Takuji's fingerprints were on that desk. It could be Kiyokawa's. It could be even... it could be Kimika's or Kiyokawa's or Takuji's, obviously. It couldn't be Senagawa. Who's the other person? There was another one that it could have been. Oh, I forgot, it's not too relevant. But, oh yeah, it could have been Zakudor, but obviously dead people don't put phones in other people's rooms, do they? Well, this is Subarashiki Hibi, so I wouldn't put it past this plot, but still.
なるほど。
I see.
高島さんの携帯を使い、できる限りの人間に高島メールを送りつけた。
You used her phone and sent out those messages to as many people as you could.
どうやって手に入れたかは知らないけど、あなたが手に入れられた最も多くのアドレスは学校の裏掲示板の登録時のアドレス帳だった。
But the only thing is, then there's the question of who made the underground message board and why do they have a link to Takuji? I don't know how you got them, but the addresses you got were from the underground message board's registration list.
どうやって手に入れたか。
Yeah,
それは
exactly.
分かってないのだな。
How I got them. So you still don't know that. If he was the register, he was the register. Ah, yes. Takuji is a register. Those tiny little ultra fast pieces of memory in the CPU or an internet register. No, well, that's Takuji. Yeah, sure. No, anyway, I think he could be the owner of the underground message board. I mean, that would confirm a lot. Yeah. How I got them, so you still don't know that.
残念ながら。でも大体の予測はつくけどね。
I think you could still twist it, but I can see where she's coming from. Unfortunately not, but it all lines
大
up.
体の予測？
It lines up?
まあ予測でしかないから証拠はないけど、どっちにしろ警察が動いたらすぐに
Well,
分かる。
sending tomorrow, man. I don't think there are going to be any police left, judging by this. Well, it's just a hypothesis, so I have no real evidence, but if the police get involved, they'll figure it out right away. Reasonable, yeah.
学校の裏掲示板、あの爽やか北高掲示板はあなたによって管理運営されていた。
What I find really quite weird about Yuki is the fact that she was so easily accepted. She put in a bullshit identity, and yet at the same time she was still accepted. Could you imagine if... Do you remember that time where Takuji... That is a really, really good point, actually. Why is Takuji having us explain all of this if he could read our thoughts? He literally was able to read our thoughts that previous time. I don't understand why he can suddenly do this. That's really odd. I mean, obviously, Kimika is a total accomplice in Takuji's scheme. Funny that he's saying nothing.
そう考えれば、あの不自然なスレの流れも納得がいく。
And if we assume that, the strange stuff happening in those threads makes sense too.
掲示板の管理者であるなら、登録者のあらゆる情報がつぶさにわかる。
You mean if I
という
was...
ことか。
You mean if I was the administrator, I would have all of their registration information?
そうね。
Yes, that's it.
そうね。
正解だよ。
Oh.
さすがに頭がいいね。水上さんは。
This doesn't really sound like something Takuji would do. I feel like he's just going to entirely twist this. Correct, you're pretty smart,
あな
Minakami-san.
たはこれを使って高島さんのいじめに関係したとおぼしき人間を中心に高島メールを送り続け
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. You made the bullying she received the main point of the messages, and you used that information to make the people related to the bullying your primary targets. Yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah, and obviously with the registration information, you know who can email the correct bullies. You know how to email the correct bullies, the mail that slanders them for what they've done. Yeah, this is why you don't bully. Maybe some psychotic killer wanting revenge will come to you. Hmm.
私が知る限りだと赤坂めぐ、北見
Yeah,
さ
yeah, 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 yeah.
そして瀬長由衣
Yeah, because obviously Senagawa was the one who permitted it and didn't do anything to stop it. I wonder what he's going to say to this, because this feels like something that a big emotional connection could arise from. As far as I know, those were Akasaka Megu, Kitami Satoko, and Miss Senagawa.
どうかしら
How's that?
それも正解。ただし
Interesting.
75点だけで。
That is also correct, though I only have to give you 75%.
75点
75%? Or 75 points?
いじめに強く加担したのは赤坂めぐ、北見聡子、それを容認した瀬長由衣、そして抜
What
け
the
は
fuck?
ザクロの友人である立花君香。
That's really weird. Right, the people who felt guilty about her bullying were Akasaka Megu, Kitami Satoko, the teacher who let it happen, Miss Senagawa, and then one you forgot, Zakuro's friend, Tachibana Kimika. So they're friends. That's really, really odd. They're friends and yet... Well, but the only thing I don't really understand, when Takuji says feeling guilty about the bullying, could that just mean that Kimika was somebody who had experienced a really negative change in Zakuro just because of this really bad bullying that she's had? I really do wonder. This is so odd.
立花君香
Tachibana Kimika.
それってあんたの仲間じゃん
But yeah, seriously, I agree. So why is that? Is it because she's just desperately trying to make up for what she's done?
ああ、今ではね。
Yeah, totally. I mean, she literally suicided for your cause. Yeah, now she is. She was the most useful follower I had.
でも、もともとは彼女も高島ザクロのいじめに加担していた。
Because even though they were friends, she had bullied her as well. I'm just really surprised about that. If anything, I always thought that Kimika was going to be totally in on the conspiracy with Takuji as well. I never really thought there was any chance of a possibility of, well, I don't really know, her feeling forced into it. I don't know. How is Takuji going to have changed all of this for Kimika? I really wonder. But at first, she felt guilty about bullying Takashima Zakuro too.
それよりも、
Where's Ayana, by the way?
僕は赤坂、北見、そして瀬長をどういう風に追い詰
Yeah,
め
no,
て
no,
いっ
no.
たか。
No, that is a really good question.
そのトリックとやらを教えてもらいたいな。
Well, I suppose going to Zakudo's corpse and then getting strands of her hair and lighting them on fire so that it's as if there was a curse of Takashima, and then doing that weird ass ritual, it puts them away. It's as if you burn her spirit and make it die by burning strands of her hair. This really makes sense.
掲示板で赤坂めぐや北見聡子が散々書いてたじゃない自分たちだけ他の人と違う高島さんからの呪いのメールが来るって
They were posting all about it on the message board. They got messages from Takashima-san that no one else got.
1時間に1度の死者からのメール
Yeah.
このような状況によって
Oh yeah.
極度の
Yeah.
ストレスから
Totally.
彼女たちに精神機能や思考能力の低下状態を引き起こさせた
I mean, I know this is a really quite subtle detail, but did you guys see how little hours of sleep these guys were getting? They were on the underground message board 24/7, I swear to God. I mean, they were keeping the most degen hours. I mean, if that doesn't show that, well, yeah, like Yuki was saying, they're under significant stress, I don't know what does. Well, in other words, nothing does.
社会心理学的テクニックの基本中の基本。
Yeah, reasonable. Yeah, the most elementary of all elementary social psychology techniques. Yeah, no, I see that, and he's a fisher.
テクニック？何のだい？
It reminds me of fishing quite a lot, actually. It's just a different way of putting stress under the, well, putting stress to the victim so that they have less rationality in making decisions. Yeah, but like with fishing, it's effective.
マインドコントロールってやつよ。新興宗教が信者獲得のために行ったり、マルチ商法がカモ捕まえるためによくやるて。
Mind control. It's what emergent religions do to gain followers. God, I love that criticism. Yeah. Wow. Mind control. It's what emergent religions do to gain followers, and it's what multi-level marketers do to find victims. Yeah, that is interesting. What for?
一人だけの預言者は単なる精神異常。でもそれを誰か一人でも信じ
totally reasonable, actually.
誰か一人でも信者を獲得したら、それは宗教になる。
Yeah, a lone prophet is just a nutcase, but I like that, yeah. Yeah, but no, I do kind of see why it would be considered a lone prophet could be a nutcase, just because of the fact that their ideals are so different from the norm of reality. But then, yeah, and then they gain followers, and then their idea gets normalized. A lone prophet is just a nutcase, but even if one other person believes them, if they find even one follower, then it becomes a religion. Reasonable, yeah.
自分が救世主になりすますために一人でもいいから信者を必要とした。
Yeah, no, totally. In order for you to become the savior, you needed to have at least one follower. Yeah, because he seems like a complete madman initially, but the more realistic his beliefs sound, I mean, well, the more followers he has, the more realistic his beliefs sound, and the more they will be spread, and the more bias will happen, really.
実際に掲示板を見た感じ、最初にあなたを信じたのは赤坂メグと北見聡子の2人。この2人の心を掴んだ後に一気にあなたの信者は膨れ上がる。
From looking at the message board, it seems like the first two to believe you were Akasaka Megu and Kitami Satoko. After you secured those two, your followers swell. Yeah, how was it secured? He feels a lot of remorse to what he's done. Yeah. No, he feels totally as if everything has been a game. He really does. Could you be more specific?
記者からの終わりのないメール群は彼女たちを追い詰める。救いを求める形となる。
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, the endless messages from the dead chased them into a corner. It made them ask for salvation. Of course, who would not want salvation from something like that?
彼女たちを救うことができる人間がいるとすれば、
Yeah.
それは救世主としての価値を持つ。
And that's the direction he's taking in order to make it so that well, these people can just make fools of themselves by lighting fire to Zakudor's hair. Now, I'm sorry, but why would somebody like Takuji disrespect a corpse so much by just using parts of that corpse to make it so that he can gain more followers? If you ask me, I don't think Takuji has respect to Zakudor. I think the Zakudor's crime has just made it so that Takuji and his delusional ideals have been able to get as high as possible. I remember in the beginning of the story, I mean, he was talking about the limit of his world. How even though people have their own realities and their own worlds, we all live in the same world because of a collective unconsciousness, subconsciousness, and then I suppose because of that, the limit of his world is something that... No, it totally makes sense at the beginning of episode 1 now. No, sorry, episode 2. Just seeing, will you go to the limit of my world with me? And will you properly try to uncover what I have done in order to get to the limit of what I am capable of, really. I mean, I suppose, with the limits of the world as well, we are kind of at the limit of the world. We are nearly, I mean, heck, we're seeing this in the sky, and it's nearly July the 20th. If there was someone who could save them from that hell, that person would be able to call himself the savior.
さらに、それを掲示板上で他の目撃者がいる中で行えば効果は抜群。
Yeah, good point. Yeah, and by doing it on the message board where other people could see, the effect was
だか
multiplied.
ら、
Yeah,
彼女たちのストレスを最大限にまで高めるために、
yeah,
彼女た
totally.
ちが最も恐れる高島ザクロの自殺現場に
It's
向かうよ
evil.
うに指示した。
It's evil, but it's interesting. It really is. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ, look at what happened. Look at what potentially, sorry, gotta say that now, happened to Kagami. I mean, these people are demented. They are absolutely demented. And isn't it interesting to think about that as well? He has followers and he has people he can so easily manipulate because of their ridiculous levels of fear. So then, they can, it's insane. He can convert a normal person to somebody who is basically getting to somebody who allows for a dismemberment and maybe even takes part in it to occur. God, in front of their sister as well. I mean, how messed up do you have to be to want to agree with something like that? But the only thing is, these people feel as if they're threatened with their lives if they don't do it. So it's just basically a psycho leading so many people to such ugly futures, really. What? Futures? They'll be in jail for the rest of their lives. Potentially. Like, if the world didn't end tomorrow. Yeah.
ストレス
They're stressed?
そう、真夜中に自殺現場に行くように指示。そこで発見されるのは高島ザクロの頭皮がついた紙の束。
Yeah. Right, you told them to go to the site of her suicide in the middle of the night. What they found there was a lock of Takashima Zakuro's hair with parts of her scalp still attached.
多分それは携帯を手に入れた時に同時に高島さんの自殺現場から採取したもの。
You probably got that at the same time you picked up her phone.
それを燃やすという行為であたかも呪いを消し去ったかのような印象を与える。
I just don't really understand why the fact that Takuji would have had to get the phone now. Why would the police not have seen this and taken their phone away and bagged it for evidence? Even if they didn't, I just don't really understand why it was there before. I feel like what could be more reasonable. Wait, no, hang on a second. We've got to remember the fact that Zakuro had her phone. Oh my god, yeah, that's a good point. Zakuro had her phone until the last moment she died. I feel like she's probably... No, I don't think she's actually in this with Takuji. I think she's just doing this in order to... But, no. Why is she suiciding? So, there was that really demented post about the three angels and them, well, it was as if they were the warriors, because what they had done is they'd died, and then there was some sort of well, they believed a specialized physics bug, and remember what Zakuro was saying in episode 1 about internal world and external world? It was as if something from the external world, outside of ability for us to perceive, was infecting the internal world, and it was as if they died so that could stop happening, really. But the only thing is, it's just such an absurd explanation. I mean, is that just her trying to justify her suicide in the most weird terms? I don't know. Yeah. Hmm.
ここまででほとんど
totally.
精神機能や思考能力が完全に不全に陥った彼女たちにあなたの教義を教え込む。
Good. Yeah, that's a good technique. Yeah, and you told them all about your beliefs while they were completely exhausted, both in mind and spirit. Yeah, I like that, actually. That's something I've never really
破
thought
壊した
about.
心の上から新しい情報を書き換える。
Hmm.
本当にマインドコントロールの基本中の基本。
Yeah. You cross the spirits of fear and then fill them up with new information. Yeah. Yeah, totally. It's the most elementary of mind control techniques. What's a predatory marketer? Is that a pedo, or is it actually something significant? Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Yeah, let me show this. Yeah, so it's basically I can think of so many examples of stuff like this. Yeah. Yeah. Especially kids, they have less logic. I think video games is a really good example because you just get kids that are really interested in video games, and so much so that they will do anything so that they can be as good as possible in a game they are. Make a game really dopamine inducing and then just offer loads of microtransactions. Obviously advertise it to a younger audience. Boom, you've made a business. I mean, it's ugly. It really is. I mean that when I played Roblox when I was a kid, that was just the game entirely. Just that. It was the definition of predatory marketing now that I think about it. Filled with microtransactions. Some games were unplayable without spending stuff on them, really. Yeah. No, I totally agree. You made followers of the... So Takuji made followers of the ones who were most vulnerable. And then the people that were most vulnerable, they spread their beliefs and their newfound... their newfound evidence as to why Takuji is the saviour to everybody. And that spreading of the evidence, even the people who would normally be more sensible would have fallen for this. And especially because of the fact that there's the end of the world, it's calamity as well. They are acting on stress. Of course they would believe in something like this. Yeah, you made followers of the weak and increased anxiety of the rest. God, he's really enjoying this. I don't blame him, to be honest, but yeah, how wonderful. You really are amazing, Minakami-san. Yeah, I mean, isn't that just the same? I mean, obviously, Yui's an adult. I don't really think she'd fall for something like this, to be honest. But at the same time, I mean, a lot of the people who were talking on the underground message board, they didn't exactly seem young. They seemed like maybe over 15. They just didn't really seem like they'd be having the conversations young people would be having. Ah, yeah. Yeah. You managed to get her cell phone, although I stole it from Miss Kiyokawa.
Ah, so
No, that is actually really interesting. So Kimika steals the phone from Senagawa, and then Takuji gets it. But the only thing is I don't really understand why. Maybe there is something that Takuji has done with Senagawa's phone in order to convince his followers about something that maybe Yuki's missed. I don't know. Yes, that's right. So what did you learn from that then? Yeah, funny that. I do wonder if Takuji was expecting us to be able to recover them. Almost all of the information had been deleted, the messages and everything. Yeah, so then, what did you find out? Yeah, everything. Everything? Yeah, so that brand of phone, I could retrieve all the deleted messages. Yeah, reasonable. She's still got to explain the suicide of Senagawa even. Messages came every hour, and there was nothing to them. They were just trying to scare her. And they suddenly started leading her in a specific direction on the 15th. They started working to get her on the building C rooftop.
そんで思い出したんだけど、15日って
Yeah, funny that, yeah. Yeah, just totally trying to make false means of, false means of intelligence and reliability and trust that his followers could place in him. And that made me remember how the 15th was the day when you made a strange prediction. Yeah.
もう一人死ぬことが
Yeah.
自分の正しさを証明するみたいな。
Something about another death proving you correct.
確かにしたね。
I did make a prediction like that. Yeah.
だからでしょ。
And that's why.
メールの文章には高島さんのシートで捨てられた人形に関わる話が
Yeah, totally. Yeah. That's why the messages started mentioning the doll Takashima-san lost on Building C.
それを先生は探し回っていた。
She went looking for it.
だってそれを用意しないと高島ザクロは人形の代わりに瀬名川先生を連れて行くと言うんだから。
After all, if she couldn't find it, Takashima Zakuro would take her instead.
それとメールの受信時間。
And the time she received the messages, I just find it really interesting to think about the fact that Takuji, he's tried so hard to give such an illusion of being part of the supernatural, but I just really don't understand why, for example, he has done this. I don't understand what the causes of this were. He seemed so innocent and shy, firstly, but at the same time, then again, I mean, his thoughts, though they weren't necessarily malicious there, they were definitely indicative of the maliciousness, so maybe he was always thinking this. And maybe he was always like this for some reason. I just don't get why. And the time she received the messages. Yeah, funny that. They weren't exactly an hour. And funnily enough, I mean, I remember thinking human error. That could be, but yeah, I don't get why somebody as calculated as Takuji would do that. Interestingly enough, all of the messages were sent an hour apart.
0時1分、1時1分、2時1分。なのに最後のメールだけは全く中途半端な送信。
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but the time of the very last message was completely different.
なぜならば、そのメールだけは瀬名川先生が転落した直前、全くそれまでの法則に従わない時間。
Because that message was right before she fell, at a time that didn't obey the schedule up until then.
答えは簡単。
Yeah, no, it just totally shows that somebody is monitoring her entire move. Her entire moveset. Yeah, the answer is simple.
高島さんがなくしたという人形とやらをシートの
Oh yeah, that's a really good point. Wow, yeah, no, that does make sense. Oh yeah, that's genius. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, you placed the doll she lost on the Building C rooftop in a very dangerous place.
通常はそんな場所なら道具か何かで取るようなもんだけど。
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
その時にはすでに。
Yeah.
瀬名川先生にはまともな思考能力などなかった。
Yeah, normally someone would use a tool to get it, but at that time, Miss Senagawa wasn't thinking clearly.
屋上の手すりを越えて。
Yeah.
そしてさらにひさしに降りて。さらに手を伸ばして。
Yeah, that's really reasonable. Yeah, she climbed over the fence, got down on the eaves, and then she stretched out her hand.
一番不安定な瞬間。その瞬間に携帯電話が鳴る。
And just when she was least stable, her phone rang.
そこに書かれているのは
What was written there was... Oh my god, yeah. No, I totally see that, yeah, I got you. And Miss Senagawa's hand slipped.
素晴らしい推理だね。
Almost.
水上さん、ほぼ大正解だよ。
You're almost totally correct.
そうね。やっと事件の全貌を知ることができた。この事件はすべてあなたの仕組んだ茶番。
I mean, this is totally realistic. I don't understand how you explain any of the supernatural, though. Yeah, I've finally been able to put together the big picture. This whole farce was your doing.
超常現象でも神でも幽霊でも何でもなく、一個人のあなたが仕組んだもの。
It wasn't a supernatural phenomenon or god or a ghost or anything like that. Just a single person. You came up with the whole thing. What about the Webbot project, though?
私の部屋に侵入して高島さんの携帯を置いたの。
Yeah, what? Yeah.
それに鏡と司。
You broke into my room and left Takashima-san's phone and Kagami and
あれ
Tsukasa.
は何なの？
What about them?
鏡と
Seriously.
司はどうやって？
How did they?
彼女たちはあなたは私に一体何をしたの？
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, just what did you do to me?
それを教えなさい。
Tell me that.
僕は君に何もしていないよ。
I haven't done anything to you. Apart from killing your best childhood friend.
そんなわけないじゃない。
That can't be true.
いや、何もしてないさ。
Sorry to say, but I haven't done a single thing to you.
嘘だ。そんなわけない。何もしてないなんてことあるわけない。
That's a lie. That can't be true. You did something to me. Yeah. I can totally see why she thinks that.
いや、僕は
I can't. What?
君には何もできない。
I didn't. I can't do anything to you. I will never understand how you can explain the mind reading. I really, really wouldn't. I mean, maybe you could think about the fact that there's the potential for Yuki, because of the fact that she's really, really stressed. She could be perceiving it as mind reading, whereas it isn't in reality. Maybe she's extremely easy to read in terms of facial expressions. I don't know though, it's really weird. I can't do anything to you.
なら、私が見たものは何なんだ。一体これは何なんだ。
Then what was that I saw? What is all of this?
もう時間だ。
Oh, it's
どう
time.
やら君はこの時間に永遠にとどまる気だね。
Why would we want to do that? It looks like you want to stay in this moment forever.
僕は先に行くよ。
I'll go on ahead.
待て、マミヤ。
Wait, Mamiya.
僕は君が好きだったんだがね。
What? Though I did love you. Yes, you've committed 4 murders and you've done mass manipulation. Yeah, that's odd. What the fuck?
あれは
What's this?
対の空。
That's really odd. The end sky. What is this though? It's just as if it's like a moon of blood. Oh God, yeah, he's dead.
マミヤがいない。
Mamiya's gone. Is Ayana there?
今
Just now What the fuck is that? Is that Ayana?
アヤナさん、私
Oh my God, that looks unnervingly odd. What's going on with Ayana? Yeah, isn't it really funny to think about the fact that we have kind of sussed out the fact that Takuji couldn't have done anything to us. It's all Ayana's doing. But why? Genuinely! Genuinely, why? Why does Ayana have such an obsession of us knowing? I do see why Takuji could have loved us though. I mean, we would have had... Well, this is his way of saying, if you solve my conspiracy, if you find the truth of what I'm saying, I will understand you. And then, obviously, they will somehow have a relationship. I don't know. It is weird. But to be fair, I can definitely see. She does seem kind of similar to Takuji, just in the sense that she's really quite badass and she will do anything to solve a conspiracy, really. And she's very clever and good at doing them. Yeah, but that is actually really interesting. You're almost totally correct. But the only thing that I find really, really weird, what about Kagami and Tsukasa? I mean, I've got a thought. I mean, could you imagine if they weren't actually dismembering a human and they were dismembering a doll? As some sort of weird cult-like ritual that the prophet Takuji says we must do to, I don't know, free us of evil spirits or bullshit like that. Isn't that odd to think about the fact that Takuji definitely has an acquaintance with the supernatural, probably because of Ayana and because of the end sky? This is so weird though. I don't understand why Ayana is so evil here, or at least that's her expression. Yeah, this is a really interesting answer. It does all make sense. It really, really does. But it's so interesting how easy it is to get swayed by lies. It really is. I don't like that she didn't explain the webbot project, though. That's what I'm kind of annoyed about, because the webbot project was made by somebody 7 years ago, but then it was stopped because of the fact that that prediction had become redundant and that person ended the prediction. Then what happened with the end of, well, with the webbot project was, well, I suppose it was just continued because Takuji's mum, for some reason, she had meaning in that site. Why does she have meaning? We don't have enough information to solve that, I don't think. But, even so, it's not really that relevant at the moment, let's just say. But, actually, no, I feel like it would be. But Takuji clearly did this with relevance to the webbot project. Webbot project just gave him credibility to his beliefs. But I feel like he owned the webbot project as well. I feel like he's an incredibly good programmer. Or website developer. But, no, actually, I think Takuji may... Could you imagine if Takuji's in this with somebody? I mean, he's not the owner of the webbot project. He is the administrator, implying that somebody let this happen. Maybe that same owner of the underground message board could also be the owner of the webbot project. What was that? Yeah! Hang on a second. So is that telling us that all of that was an illusion? It's nothing. Mamiya-kun just jumped off. What? So she says this. Yes, he says it more menacingly. How is this nothing? But I saw something. Did that kill everybody? It's nothing. Mamiya-kun just jumped off. Yeah, sure. You were the one who pointed to the existence of the end sky, and now you're saying it's nothing. No, I didn't do anything, just... It's nothing. Mamiya-kun just jumped off. It neither is a... What? It neither is a person nor isn't a person. It's nothing. Mamiya-kun just jumped off. It neither is Ayana nor isn't Ayana. It's nothing. Mamiya-kun just jumped off. It's neither is Yukito nor isn't Yuki. Who the fuck is Yukito? I remember seeing a name that was similar, like not Mikoto. Hitomi? No. Hitomi. Why would it be that? Kotomi! That was it. No. I don't know why I thought of that. That was the old company of the White Lotus Association. That's what I like about this as well. There's so many odd leads that it lets you pursue. What the fuck is this though, genuinely? Oh wait, Kotomi is there. I'm surprised. What the fuck is this? Who's Watanabe again? Oh my god, it's a familiar name. No, it isn't actually. I don't know if this is a coincidence, but this spells June. I suppose this spells is. SN doesn't really make much sense though. This is so weird. What? I don't think I can keep up. Oh my god. What's happening now? Okay, that was not what I was expecting. What? Well, this is a bit odd. I mean, I think it's a little bit... Never ask Ayana what's wrong. She might just say nothing. No, but what I find really, really unusual to think about this is... It's really, really interesting because this is deranged. Let's just put that out there firstly. And it's... If you ask me, these are the thoughts of somebody who has lost all of their sanity. Maybe this could be a reflection of Ayana's thoughts. I don't know. But what I find that really interesting is... It's like the dialectical thinking we saw. Because, I mean... Let's say, for example, somebody either knows something. So... I suppose the theory was that human beings are born... Well, no, that... Wait, no. What was the... Well, no, I suppose if you tie it to the fact that the world's all a simulation and reality isn't real, I suppose you're born knowing that... Well, you're born knowing the fact that the reality is a simulation, and then you forget it, obviously, but then you may spend your life trying to remember whether it was or not. But the only thing that's so weird is... This is kind of saying it's not anything. It never started out as anything, and it never ended as anything. It was as if it was never there in the first place. Like, how can something not be form, or be form? It kind of implies to think about the fact that this world here, even though Yuki is experiencing this objectively, it's as if it just doesn't exist. This is so weird. I just don't get Ayana. I really, really don't. This is really weird. I mean, I think if you can tell by how mad this is, it's as if logic has just entirely gone. It's just fucked off. This is so odd. I heard the sound of my skull cracking. But that wasn't from the outside world. God, no. Yeah, that's really weird. So now we've gone to Subete Anata no Sei desu. This is quite literally that plot. I think it came from within me. What? This is Ayana now, Minakami-san. Sometimes I think about these things. Where is the limit of the world? The very edge of the world. if such a place existed. Suppose I were able to stand in that place. Yeah, no, that is actually a really good point, because it's as if the sky that marks the end of the world is that very place in which you can, see the scenery that you would normally see. Suppose that I were able to stand in that place. Could I look at the scenery from that edge, just like anywhere else? If I think it's normal to wonder about these things, that must make me weird. I mean, that's the edge of the world. It's the limit of the world. But the only thing is, it's a metaphorical limit. But you're calling this metaphorical. Right, okay. No, but it is kind of metaphorical. So I don't see why you shouldn't be able to see the same scenery. It just depends on what has happened in order to reach the limit of the world. If I could see that with my own two eyes, wouldn't that be the limit of the world? Wouldn't the limit of the world become the same as my own limit? Wouldn't the world viewed from that spot be the world that I see? Wouldn't that be my world? The limit of the world will become the limit of my world. The world is that which I see, touch and feel. Yeah, totally. Then what is the world? What is the difference between me and the world? Is there one? The difference between me and the world? Yeah, that is interesting. That really is. Yeah, but no, I can kind of see that, because... No, it is interesting what Ayana was always saying. It's as if no matter how much reality bends around us and no matter how odd everything becomes, it's as if we're still the same. Minakami Yuki is still the same person. But the only thing that makes no sense about that is how... yeah, that's actually a reasonable question. How the fuck does reality just casually bend around somebody? I mean, how can somebody be the world? That's my mission. To try and make sense of, because it's as if it's funny to think about the fact that in the beginning and the end of, I'd assume we're probably near the end of the chapter, but we see the same monologue. Isn't it interesting to think about the fact that the end of the world is happening, but why does Zakuro and Takuji know about the end of the world? It's as if Ayana was the one who had told him to do that conspiracy. But why? What is the point in any of this? Yeah, we know the who. What's the point? Is it a false promise of love, maybe? I don't know. Why is Takuji so resolved to the fact that the world is going to end now? Yeah, but I suppose it is interesting to think about the fact that we are in... Wait, no, hang on a second. This isn't Ayana. Why was I thinking that? This is Takuji's monologue. Yeah, that is very interesting. I suppose it's just encouraging us as the reader to reinterpret it. Because I suppose it's really interesting. If you think about the fact that the world is nothing, for example, Mamiya Takuji is or isn't, I don't know, just think of anything. Yeah. It neither is nor isn't God, or... Yeah, it neither is form nor isn't form. And that's interesting because that kind of explains that it's as if there is no form towards Takuji. So, as a result of that, could you think that maybe the only reason Takuji can have a form is because of the fact that, I suppose, the belief that the world is a product of someone's subconscious? Maybe that's why. This is just a product of Yuki's subconscious. Obviously, products like this, they can't have form. They are just concepts. But the only thing is, why? What's the point of this reality-bending shit? Like, well, sorry, that made me sound like I hate it. I do not hate this, I love it. But, what is the point of this? Seriously, like, what is the point of having... Why did the writers go for the theme of the story just being so distorted from reality? What were they trying to gain from it? I really wonder. And I'm just thinking, I mean, why would the characters necessarily need this? What is Ayana doing, basically? I really do wonder what we're going to learn about Ayana. But isn't it interesting to think about the fact that the limit of the world, you have been able to see the same scenery at the end of the world, and I suppose the limit of the world is just the limit of the time available in the world. You're approaching the end, the upper bound, really. And, I suppose as a result of that, and at the end of the world, you can see everything here. Yeah, and I suppose the world is the world she sees, sure. But yeah, no, I do kind of see that as well. Well, I suppose it's as if you're at the point where the world is going to end. And this is the limit of what you can experience, really. Because you physically can't experience anything. But yeah, I see that. And I suppose this is the limit of her world. Yeah, totally. Yeah, but that is really interesting. And then this just gives humanity being a product of the subconscious just totally... It totally makes the belief arise. I just find it's such an odd trace of... It's such an odd means of thinking. You are able to see this at the very end of the world, and this is the last thing you're able to see within the entirety of reality itself. And yet you're making the conclusion that you and the world are the same just from this. But it's so interesting, the thought process that makes something feel so ridiculous actually possible. And of course, it's as if Yuki and the world, they are the same. The limit of the world is the limit of the amount of time that could be spent on the world, I suppose. I'd interpret it like that. Yuki is the only person there when that limit has been reached. Even Takuji couldn't be there. So that shows that the world and, well, her world and also her world and, let me just think about this. Herself and her world. Yeah, her subconscious in her world. Oh yeah, they are the same. Because whenever all of the other details are abstracted from the world, she is the only one left. However, other people might have felt this too. Yeah, but the only thing is, I mean, yeah, that is weird. Yeah, even you might think that the world is you. And I think that's probably correct. Your perception of the world is you, sure. But the only thing is, this is really weird. This is not saying the perception of the world is you. This is saying the world itself is you. So weird. Yeah, I couldn't say for sure, but if you stood at the edge of the world, you would probably see the shape of the world just like I do. So you would be the same as the world too. Yeah, no, I see that. But that really doesn't make sense. Yeah, totally. I mean, how can we see exactly the same thing? But also, if that's the case, if the end of the world... that's actually quite interesting. So if you think about it, if Yuki's thinking about the fact that in the end of the world, in the limit of the world, we can see exactly the same thing as her, does that imply that all human beings are the same? The shared subconscious theory? If the world is me, why can't I see the world that you see? But you just said that you can. What? Yeah, so we would see the world similarly, but at the same time, would we necessarily... But I don't understand, if we see the same shape of the world similarly, why can't Yuki see our world? But the only thing is, I suppose Yuki's world consists of her senses and herself, and so does our world. So of course they're different, so she can't see the same sight through our perspective, so she can't see the world that we see. Is that it? Even though you were in my world, I can't see the world you see. Isn't it interesting that, I mean, I really do wonder if this was some sort of really deluded love. the beginning of this story and just all of the story in general, really, because it would make sense. It genuinely would make sense if this was just some sort of really fucked up love between Takuji and Yuki, honestly. I mean, it's odd. It really is odd. I've never seen the world that you do. Yeah, but that is interesting. Yeah, no, I totally see that, because you experience the same place, but if you have a different life, obviously you're going to experience it with an entirely different set of thoughts, which I suppose it kind of makes it seem as if the world is an entirely different place for somebody else just based on perception. So that's why I suppose somebody can never truly see the world through another person's eyes. Is that what it's saying? They're like parallel universes that can never cross. Even if there are hints that suggest the other exists, they can never touch. Yeah, that is odd. So that kind of implies that even if there are hints that people have a bond and they have things in common and they have common views and their worlds are common, it's as if they can never cross because they're not exactly the same. But if anything, isn't that a good thing, because that ensures individuality? I can't see the world you live in. Yeah, reasonable. You can become very close to that world, and the goings on in daily lives could become very similar, but at the same time, maybe they wouldn't become the same. But is that really the case? Have I really never seen your world? If every person has been equally allotted one singular world, yeah, how could those worlds potentially become one? How can there be so many worlds? There must be a way for the worlds to become one. Sometimes I think about these things. That's why I was able to love. Interesting. What's gonna happen now? Ooh. This sounds like a fucking epic theme. Wow. Sounds very unhinged. Sounds deranged. Fitting. Heard Kagami, by the way. I mean, obviously that probably means mirror here rather than actual Kagami. These vocals are really unusual. Oh my god, look at the end, look at the moon at the end of the world, at the limit of the world. It's getting progressively more and more red. I like that. I do find it really quite interesting just in this song how chaotic and also how unhinged the guitar sounds. Yeah, alone in the looking glass world, it is interesting that. Oh, Miu is the same VA as Kimika. That's cool. Miu was barely in this story though. She had like a few lines and yet she gets a credit. Why doesn't the for example, the guy who played Kiyoshi get a credit? Or Yasuko, I don't get that. I love this image, by the way. It's just so unusual. Fucking hell, they really are killing it with the guitar. Can't really say I like the song the most, but god, it really is interesting. Very unnerving song. And it sounded like a very defeated song as well. And very, very hostile. Hostile was the only way I can describe scenery. Well, a chapter that ends with scenery that's like that. Interesting that there's an eye in the moon. That's really weird. God, so can we go to chapter 3 now? I want to see what it looks like. Yeah, look at that. It's my own, is that say, yeah, invention. Ooh. Interesting. Right, well, that's the end of chapter 2. Oh my god, that was so weird at the end. That really, really was. Fucking hell. I really enjoyed that ending, but I just found it very, very odd. I really did. There was nothing that made sense, obviously. I mean, I think it was a very hard thing to understand, but at the same time, I think the stuff about the limits of the world, it's really, really interesting, because I suppose if you could think about Takuji talking so much about there being so many worlds in the universe, yet worlds between two people never crossing. I mean, keep in mind this was the first time we saw this was when Takuji was with Yuki. I mean, I really do wonder if there is some potential odd motive for Takuji. Maybe he genuinely felt as if Yuki was the right person for him. But at the same time, maybe he's had a really horrible upbringing, or maybe he's just very mentally ill, so this is how he thinks it's appropriate to approach that love. I don't know, it's very, very odd. It really is. But what I just find so odd about this chapter is, just in general, I mean, obviously everything with Takuji, I think that's brilliant, and I loved that everything was explained, because everything really does make sense, apart from the Webbot project, but hopefully that's going to be explained later. But, yeah, I'm really looking forward to hearing more about Ayana's mystery, and just the weirdness that goes on in the world, and why the world has to end. I mean, that is actually a good point now that I think about it. Why does the world have to end? What's wrong with the world as it is? What makes the world worthy of being required to end? And also, what I found really interesting at the end there, why did the moon just suddenly gain eyes? It was as if, I feel like that's Ayana. I mean, why was she there, for example? It was as if she was the force of evil that was, well, I don't know, looking over us as we, well, our skull split. We were going to die anyway, but it was as if she was the force of evil that was looking over us. And I don't understand why Yuki, why she has gone through such a far way. She has been the person that has steered us to the truth. Without her, we wouldn't have found the truth. But what I find so weird about that is, why would she do it? I mean, what's the point? What is her motive? Does she even have a motive? And, I mean, what is the essence of her views? It's so weird to think about the fact that it's as if she kind of controls reality, yet at the same time, I mean... Oh wait, I've just thought of something. You remember when I was thinking, right, Umineko spoilers, like all of Umineko spoilers, episode 1 to 8 here. But I was thinking of Subarashiki Hibi being like Umineko, in the sense of it being just an afterthought, and, well, not really an afterthought, but a story that was thought about somebody, and we are reading the story. Well, we're reading a story inside a story. Maybe that's why people like Takuji, they have, for example, they could be form, and yet they couldn't be form. I mean, it's not as if Takuji is one thing or another. It's as if he's nothing, kind of. Maybe it's as if he is just something, his form is just something that we can build up via interpretation and via how the game instructs us to interpret a certain situation. I don't know, it's really weird, but yeah, now that we've done all of chapter 2, I got it finished a lot quicker than I was actually intending. I've just got to check something. Right, okay, here we go. So firstly, we're going to do the choice that we haven't seen before. Let's see about Tsukasa's plans.
Yeah.
So is your club doing anything today, Tsukasa?
ありますよ。剣道部は今日もあります。
Yes, we are. The Kendo Club is meeting today.
剣道部ということはあれですな。鏡と司二人とも部活出るわけだ。
Kendo Club, which means both of you are going, right?
当たり前じゃない。私は部長よ。司が出て私が出ないわけがないじゃない。
Of course, I'm the club leader. There's no way I wouldn't go.
そうですか。ならば私はこんなことを考えてます。
Well, I was thinking.
何を？
About what?
若月姉妹の部活が終わるまで二人を待ってようかなってね。
Yeah, that's going to embarrass her. Maybe I should wait for you two to finish your club.
なんで？
Why?
今日のお礼かしらね。まあ昔みたいに少しは王子様らしいところ見せないと。
As thanks for today, maybe. Besides, I have to act like a prince for you two.
で、
What?
あんた女でしょ。
But you're a girl.
鏡にとって王子様は男じゃないかね。
Oh god, that's gonna kill her. Does your prince need to be a boy, Kagami? Huh?
別にそういうのは。って何聞いてるのよ。
That's how you can tell she's stressed. I love that. Hey, that's not what I... Hey, what do you mean by that?
別に。
Oh, she's so pissed off. What do you mean? Oh,
勉
nothing.
強はできないけど、未だにそんじょそこらの男よりも強いことは知ってるでしょ。
That's interesting. Even Takuji? Really? I find that kind of hard to believe for some reason. I'm no good at studying, but, you know, I'm still stronger than any of the guys around here.
でも私たちだって今じゃ結構強いんだよ。市内さえあればだけど。
I like that. The two of us are pretty strong too. If we have a bamboo sword at least, but what if they don't?
わかるわかる。でも一緒の方がいろいろと心強いでしょ。
Yeah, reasonable. Sure, I know, but it would still be safer if we were together, right? God, isn't it just weird to think about the fact that we had a world like this? All was innocent. But now we've reached the limit of the world. But why does the world have to have a limit? Why can't it just be endless? Why is it that there is an occasion where the world ends? What is the point? Yeah.
どう鏡は？
What do you think, Kagami?
私は別にいいわよ。
I don't mind.
そんなこんなで時間を潰してるよ、
Yeah.
私は。
Kagami's so uncomfortable. That's hilarious. That's settled. I'll kill some time around here.
それじゃあ部活が終わったらね。
See you in a little bit.
後で体育館で会う感じでいいかな。
How about we meet up at the gym?
そろそろ行くわよ、司。
Oh, she's pissed off. Let's go, Tsukasa.
じゃあね。
Not even saying goodbye. God, so I feel like when Kagami was quite mad about us, that was because of the fact that, well, this is what had happened. She was just a bit annoyed about us having embarrassed her. But what I also find interesting is maybe because of Takuji, he could have spread rumors about us that could have somehow... No, but the only thing is, I mean, I don't actually think Kagami and Tsukasa exist in this world. I'm being serious. I think they were just illusions. I really do. I mean, for example, firstly, where did Tsukasa go? And secondly, why did Kagami literally just turn into a doll? It makes no sense. Yeah, we've read this. Yeah, that was quite fun. Some new extra dialogue here. Oh boy. That's hilarious. Right, we'll just skip. I just need to check if I have unread text. Skipping. Where is it? Oh yeah, nice. Yeah. I forgot which one this was. Oh, right. Hang on, have we read this conversation with Ayana? I don't think so. Oh my god, that's interesting. What? God, that's really unusual to think about the fact that Ayana has always seen the limit of the world. That's so weird. Yeah, there will be, yeah. This is not a joke. Isn't it funny? I see it's as if she's being assessed on her understanding. And Sky. God, this is just so odd now.
よくわからない。
なんか空がどうしましたか？なんかいやそうね。死ぬ前に
This must have been
そんなことより
such
あなたは部活もしないでなんでこんな場所にいるんですか？
Yeah, I find it interesting to think about the fact that Senagawa was ridiculously paranoid about where we were. I mean, it totally makes sense after we see the ridiculous amount of abuse that she was getting. And, yeah, oh my god, I totally understand why she is so fazed by this as well. I mean, it's not only guilt, but at the same time, it's also just everything to go on that. By the way, with the guilt-related stuff, who was it that was kind of... Oh, yeah, no, yeah. Yeah, that was really quite interesting. God, so was this. Oh, we've not read this?
授業サボったからな。行ったらまずいだろう。大体用事もないし。
Yeah, I cut class. I'd probably get in trouble if I went there. Not like I have any business there
教
anyway.
師の方々と顔合わせたら何言われるか。
Yeah, they've given up on her.
何も言われないのですけどね。
Yeah, Senagawa, I don't know about her, but yeah. I wonder what they would say if they saw me. They probably wouldn't say anything, though. That was a nice part of being a flunky. They'd already given up on me. Such a weird moment with Ayana there. Love it. God, July the 14th. Isn't it interesting to think about the fact that everything goes more and more progressively red the more close to the limit of the world we get to? It is interesting, that. So, by the way, I forgot to say that I don't really want to reread the scene, but when we get to the scene with Kiyoshi, I have the full voice patch now. I didn't know it exists, and I have the other patch. Yeah, let's just say ACG is replaced. I don't know why I got it. People said I needed it, so yeah, I installed it, and then I kind of regretted it, but yeah. I've installed it now, and I can't be bothered to remove it, so yeah. That's really my excuse. What? But I thought Yeah, this scene, yeah. I might look into this scene again, but obviously I'll read it later, because I don't want to read it now. Oh, so this is the last choice, right? Okay, well, Kagami?
鏡のこと考えてた。そうなんだ。
But I hadn't read the choice about Tsukasa before, what?
司のこと考えてた。
I was thinking about Tsukasa. Let's just get a bit of context. Oh yeah, that's interesting, but you're always off by yourself. That could imply that maybe there was something that maybe there was something that Takuji said about maybe he twisted the truth about what we do when we're by ourselves. Who knows? Oh yeah, that was so interesting about the vertigo. That's another thing that I can't really explain. I don't understand why Yuki felt so... I mean, isn't it interesting to think about the fact that... Oh, wait, with the limit of the world. It's as if Yuki and Takuji's worlds are crossing whenever they meet. But at the same time, I don't understand. I mean, there's nothing... That's actually really unusual. I don't get that at all. I mean, I would understand... I had a theory. It would make sense. Only if this was the time everything was blurred at. But no. Hang on a second. No. Actually, that's really fucking interesting. The vertigo... In the vertigo, there is nothing. There is just what I'd assume was Ayana. Maybe that could imply that in the vertigo stage, that is kind of her transitioning from illusionary world to real world. Maybe these people don't actually exist, and in the real world, it's as if she's having a little flash of the real world here. But the only thing is, I don't really understand why you could then tie that to Takuji. I mean, maybe it is genuine stress, and maybe this is just a side effect that she's getting. But the only thing is, I don't get why she gets it early. Why does she not get it later on into the conspiracy, even though she is way more stressed on, for example, 18th of July? And especially after the Zakudor phone call incident. Oh god, this doesn't look good. You were up late at night. You've been thinking about somebody. Oh boy. There's just one part of the picture that nobody would want to talk about. If you get it, you get it. I was thinking about Tsukasa. A dumb face. You're mean. Are you stupid? Because she's crying. Cry about it. Why are you the one hitting me? I don't blame her. Of course I'm gonna hit you for that. Oh no, does she? I mean, obviously this could be a joke, but Yuki was just trying to have a joke. But at the same time, if Tsukasa genuinely feels insulted, that's bad. Tsukasa stared at me. Oh no. Oh, okay. This really... It really just gave me the impression of somebody who had the potential to be upset. I wouldn't have wanted that. I mean, obviously what we said, that could be interpreted wrongly. Agreed, yeah. Why are you laughing all of a sudden? Fair. Oh, sorry. Just thinking that you're still the same Yuki we knew in the past. In the past? I would always sit in class and wonder what kind of face you were making at the moment. I literally remember this exact voice line. And I remember like she's saying omoimasu kedo and then just having really weird intonation at the end. We have read this. I bet you anything. Yeah. I knew it.
Yuki ってば。お、ごめん。さっき見たんだけど。
The beginning of the investigation. Is this the scene where Yuki...
それってさ、ウェブを自動的に巡回して様々な情報を収集し、
God, I love how much bullshit was talked about regarding the Webbot project, by the way. Why is the 20th the limit of Ayana's world? I don't get it. I really don't. Oh, no way. No, of course not. Now, what I find very... Oh, I've just thought of something key. there was an underground message board. Why? Firstly, did the police not get that underground message board? Why? Secondly, was Takuji able? He verified it himself, the fact that it was correct. Why was he able to steal the phone from Zakudo's pocket days after her suicide? Why had the police not bagged it, and why had nothing controlled it? I mean, if Ayana really is who she says, who we think she is, i.e. somebody who has supernatural control over the world, does she manipulate fate as well? Does she manipulate it so that Takuji's plan would be 100% successful and everything would go fully correctly, just so that we have the potential to figure it out? But what's to gain from that? What is genuinely to gain? An entertaining show? I don't get Ayana. I really don't. It's quite sweet. See if there's anything different. I don't think there will be, but yeah. What I feel could happen is maybe the person who is going to be killed in the sewers is going to be Blimmin' Tsukasa rather than Kagami.
参りましたな。コンビニの店員がちんたらレジやるから遅刻ですよ。
God, such a weird scene. Interesting, her disappearance. I mean, just judging by how many supernatural things we've seen from Ayana now. Even in the real world, not even in the dream world. That's the weirdest thing. But, we looked at all of these choices, didn't we? Yeah, and Kimika. Wait, what? Oh, it's the rooftop. Oh, yeah. Of course it's the rooftop. That's the only place we could... Hang on a second, I just want a bit of context. Why did we actually go down from the rooftop? I forgot. Oh yeah, isn't that funny to think about the fact that she had actually figured out the fact that it was Takuji? Wow, that's impressive. That really is impressive, even though she is this ridiculously stressed. God, this is evil. It really is. That's so surprising. Wow. That's really interesting. Yeah, why did the police never talk to Yuki even though she was there in the incident? There were just details that would normally add up in the real world that don't add up here whatsoever, I think. Yeah, it's odd. Yeah, that is really interesting. I do wonder what she was doing. Seeing if she could maybe get any information. I mean... yeah, that's odd. I mean, she's totally within a conspiracy to Takuji, because I feel she feels that... she's obviously not a good person at all, but so she will do something like this. Even though she was one of Zakudo's friends, and yet she bullied her. I mean, who would be a good person and yet do something like that? Well, she masqueraded as a friend. But, yeah. I suppose she's just doing this now because A, she enjoys it, and B, she wants to desperately not get in the involvement of all of the things that Takuji's fearfully proposing will happen. It is interesting. I really do wonder what Takuji was trying to find here. What could be gained? Because I don't know. Maybe just seeing if there's something the hang on a second, yeah, no, I remember the fact that her 500 yen coin had disappeared, I think, but there's nothing else that's that significant. Maybe they were just seeing if there was something they could bribe Yuki with. Right, so let's just skip our way through the story and see if there's anything different at the end. God, Kiyokawa. This day was so weird. Yeah, and then everything just really... Yeah, we're approaching the limit of the world. We really are. So many odd occurrences. I love this sewer scene. I love the soundtrack. I think it's done so well. Ah. So even though we chose the choice with Tsukasa, we still have Kagami, who is the one who has died. Let's just see if there's anything new. Yeah. Right, okay. Oh yeah, now that we're here, I think I might as well just and that is a really good question with this logic. Yeah. Yeah, but what is the way for the worlds to become one? Is it love? Or is it relation? Or just bonds in general? Well, that is interesting. Now that we think about... well, if we think about the fact that the ability to love isn't discovered until you realise that the worlds, even though a world is contained, even though a person's world is contained of their unique experiences and perspectives and senses of the world, people's worlds can all exist together. Because I suppose not only are all of... The thing is, it's interesting. I mean, firstly, all of our worlds are one together, but also they are influenced by another. What goes on in one person's world influences another person's world. But how do they join together? The limit of the world that one person can see can never ever be seen with somebody else. No, but what I do find really interesting, by the way, the limit of the world was kind of metaphorical in a way, because when we saw the limit of the world, Yuki was at the limit of what she was able to investigate. Takuji was at the limit of what he was able to do, really. So I kind of like that metaphorical interpretation I made at the beginning, but it's just odd. I don't understand how worlds could become one, even though they're all unique. But I suppose that then just is tied to a collective subconscious. I don't know, I feel like that's a big question we'll have. And also the question about Ayana's identity, I mean, that is just weird on other levels. It really is. So, yeah, oh my god, it's time for chapter 3. Yeah, I've heard some... This chapter and chapter 4, I have heard some, let's just say, awful things about. I've only heard about the fact that these next two chapters are the darkest ones in the story, apparently. So, yeah, I've really got to prepare myself. It's going to be very interesting to see what this is actually going to do. I really hope this is going to be a good chapter. And yeah, I mean, my god, if we have storytelling that is as good as the one in Subarashiki Hibi here in chapter 3, I'm definitely sold. I really am going to be interested. So, I mean, if I'm going to be honest, I mean, sometimes it really is hard to see just what is the point of giving us this story. What is gained from this? I mean, okay, so we've gained about the fact that we've gained so much from Takuji's personality. We've gained lots about Ayana's personality. But for Ayana, what is the point of starting this world? What is the point of starting a reality that is just going to end? She knows that the realities are starting and ending. I feel like she was that eye in the moon on the top left in the limit of the world that we saw. I mean, I just really get the impression that there's more to her. I just don't get why she does any of this. And please don't tell me the reason's entertainment. Anyway, yeah, thank you guys for watching, and next time we will begin the monstrosity of Chapter 3. Also, by the way, can I just mention there was not a single H scene in Chapter 2, which I'm genuinely impressed about. Anyway, see you guys.